Okay, if you're someone that has anxiety, um, you need to hear this. I used to have severe anxiety up until I was about 34 years old when I collapsed my emotional brain, the bridge between my amygdala and hippocampus. I completely erased my emotional timeline. I could not recall events, make decisions, things like that. And what I found as my brain healed, I started to get anxiety again. And I wondered, where is this anxiety? And I realized it is the fear of the soul of being seen through us, through our body. So the soul comes in, the soul is pure emotion, and it comes in through our heart. It comes in through our body. The heart directs it into the part of the body that then creates, like activates that specific energy in the nervous system, goes up into the mind, where the thalamus in your brain determines how much of that emotion gets through and into your mind in order for you to create with and express with. And express your feelings, create your feelings and become expressive. And then your feelings, they go back down through your nervous system and it creates expression. The way you move, the way you talk, the way you dress, that kind of stuff. So, if you have anxiety, stop and meditate. Tone your vagal nerve. I'm going to give you this exercise to do, and it's difficult. Stick with it. Just do it. It took me, the guy that taught me, he said it should take about 3 minutes to activate. It didn't work for me. I did it for about 3 minutes. I did it for about 5 minutes. Still didn't work. So one night, let's back up. So I thought it just wasn't working for me. So one night I said, I'm just going to do this until it activates, until it triggers my vagus nerve. Because the vagus nerve is the largest nerve in your body, and it travels from the mind and it goes all the way down your body, and it connects to your digestive system, your organs, like that kind of stuff, okay? So typically that is where the anxiety lives, is in your nervous system. So if we can access that nervous system, and for me the vagus nerve was the easiest one. It's where my anxiety lived, was in my vagus nerve. I was not connecting to my gut because I needed to suppress those emotions. So my gut was having to process emotion that I was refusing to see or feel. And so it was based off this belief that I am not safe to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, to be expressed authentically. So I had a lot of trauma in there. But collapsing my emotional bridge, it detached me from my feelings. So I had no feelings about the matter. So I wondered, why did I have anxiety? So when anxiety started coming back, I stopped and I went into my nervous system and I started doing this activity. So if you look to the side, you'll notice how much tension is in your neck. So you're going to lock your hands behind your neck. And then you're going to stare at your elbow, first on the right side, then on the left, until your body lets off this yawn. Now, if you're like me and you had a lot of anxiety, or you've grown up in an environment that did not allow you to express yourself authentically, the body is going to try and trick you into believing that you are relaxed. And it might give a half yawn. It might give a sort of yawn. But if you can stop that yawn in any way, like your body doesn't just relax, your shoulders drop all the way, and you might notice your gut starts boiling and bubbling. Not boiling, sorry, that was the wrong word. Your gut is going to start activating your digestive system. Your belly might start feeling a little bit hot, uncomfortable. You might start burping. For me, I did a lot. And it starts to activate and reactivate all that stuff in there. Now, I dropped about 5 pounds in a week just doing this. But it took me an hour. And so I did it the first time, and I got the yawn. It took me about 30 minutes to get a yawn on the first side and the second side. So it was about 15 minutes each. But I noticed that I still held a lot more anxiety, that I was still holding so much more tension. And so instead of just only looking to the right and then to the left, I also looked up, I looked down, and then I would run my eyes around. I know that was probably a little bit weird, but I would move my eyes until I could feel a part where my eyes felt tension. And then I would hold it there until I got that nervous system reset, that deep yawn that comes in through the chest. It's not going to come in through your throat, and it's not going to come in through your head. It's going to come in from your lower lungs. That big old... And you won't be able to stop the force of that breath. So just keep working at it. For me, it took me an hour, and then I dropped off to sleep. The next day, I did it again. I said, I'm going to do this until I cannot feel any more anxiety in my nervous system. Now, as I started doing this, my body wanted to fidget, my legs wanted to twitch, and I just kind of let it, and then I would just come back and I said, no, we are relaxing. And so then I started telling my body, we are safe. We are at peace. There is no danger here. And I started talking to it, and it started saying, okay, it started bringing up memories, is how it started talking to me. It started bringing up memories of in my childhood. My mom would, like, I would be playing, but if my mom called, I had to respond the first time I was called, or I would be in trouble. I would get a spanking sometimes. If they had to call me 3 times, I was getting a spanking. I did not respond when I was called, and that was disrespectful. So I grew up, my nervous system was instantly ready to react. The second I got my name called, there was always that possibility of danger. There was always a possibility that I would be facing a threat if I did not react instantly. So part of my nervous system learned to stay active, and I needed to get it to shut off. Not just the majority of it, but all of it. Completely turn it off. Just take your foot completely off the gas. And this is the most interesting part to me. I have been doing meditations that I've learned from people like Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, HeartMath Institute, right? That mind-heart coherent meditation. So you go in, you do the square breathing, and then when you can feel your heartbeat in your chest, and then when you can feel your heartbeat in your brain, and then it syncs. And so then you can feel your heartbeat at the same time in your brain and your heart. Now, I have reached that state even as I have noticed that my nervous system was running anxiety. I was completely calm. I could even slow my heartbeat down and get my body into this place of complete calm. And there would be one itchy part of my nervous system that was ready to spring into action. And I did not enjoy that. Collapsing your emotional brain erases everything. That bridge. You have no access to feelings, anxiety, everything's getting through. Your nervous system is not suppressing anything. You are completely open. You are who you are. You are completely out of control, and life just happens for you. You have no say in the matter. And it's not as fun as it sounds. Anyways, but the good thing, the most amazing thing for me was that I got to observe, because that's all I could do, was simply observe life happening around me and for me and to me and with me, and observe people. I would observe myself having a conversation with someone, and it was just so wonderful. It is wonderful when you have no beliefs, no expectations, nothing but pure loving joy in your body. And it's also a little bit lonely, because us humans were meant to connect, and we connect through our feelings, through our brains. So it was kind of like my soul had been like expelled from my body, and it was tethered through my heart. So there was still emotion coming into the body, but the body needed to repair all of its connections in order for me to start creating life again, and creating feelings, and reconnecting to people, and reconnecting to the world around me. So anyhow, so I was literally like as if I was outside my body and observing things, observing the way that my brain was healing, and everything that was in my brain, every belief, every expectation, every memory. I could access some crazy memories from like my ancestors. I would call my mom and I'd say, do we have an ancestor named this? And did they this, that? I had some amazing experiences. Call them spiritual, call them soulful. They were pretty incredible. And they were quite real. They were just as real to my brain as anything else. And I was observing them all through my brain. Anyhow, to continue. So I observed when my nervous system was coming online. So when I was doing meditation, I knew the difference between not having anything going on in my nervous system to having a pinch going on in my nervous system. Now, if you had asked me 5 years ago if I could tell the difference, I would not have been able to. But now, when I walk into a room, I can tell if someone is suppressing things in their nervous system or not, because our nervous systems are mirrors, and I know where my nervous system sits at any given moment. And so I know if I am reflecting someone else's nervous system, and I can just tell them that you are suppressed, you must have a lot of anxiety, you're suppressing so much. And they're like, oh yes, I do, I have like a prescription. Or they'll be like, how did you know? Do I actually come off as anxious? Not at all. You do not. You come off as pretty confident, but I can sense it in you because that's my nervous system. When I'm flying on an airplane, takeoff and landings, I used to hate flying. I get so anxious and nervous. I realized it wasn't my own anxiety. I was reflecting the anxiety of everyone else on that plane. And so I learned how to just calm my nervous system and say, no, calm it. And as I calmed my nervous system, I noticed everyone on the plane started calming down. So the strongest nervous system in the room controls everyone. So when you learn how to walk your nervous system down into calm, coherence, release that anxiety, and allow yourself to feel your emotions, to express yourself authentically. How do you say that word? Wow. I don't know. I'm just going to pass it up right now because my brain glitched. All right. Magic happens. It's like this force field just comes in, like you create, it's like you activate your electromagnetic shield into a force field. Your electromagnetic field into a force field that then says, I know where my energy ends and someone else's begins. So I know exactly what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what's going on in my nervous system, what's going on with my own soul. And it's not hard to learn this. I had a sister who, I'll probably cut that out. I know a person that got out of a relationship that was unhealthy. A relationship that was unhealthy, and she was working through things, and we've had a lot of conversations. But she recently decided to start dating again. So she was going on a date with a guy, and he walked in, and they shook hands, and her whole body flooded with anxiety. And she said, "What's wrong with you?" I'm not she wanted to walk out. She was ready to just abandon ship and leave. And she said, "What?" She stopped and she paused. She took a deep breath and grounded herself, and she said, "I'm okay." And she just calmed her nervous system because she wasn't used to feeling that anxiety, and so she was taken aback by it. So when she's talking to me about it, I realized, I said, well, it was probably his. The minute you touched hands, your nervous system synced, and you were feeling his suppressed anxiety. And she told me the date, everything he was talking about was in the negative sense, like this goes wrong for me and that goes wrong for me. And it was probably because she had a very open, coherent nervous system, and so his nervous system was trying to sync with hers, so it was releasing all that negativity, and hers, she just wanted to have an open, fun connection, and she literally healed him. I'm joking. But I said, you could continue dating this guy. I'm sure he would so much benefit from your healthy nervous system, or he'd drag you down with him. Typically it ends up that the nervous system that's suppressing the most trauma drags the other person down. And that's because a lot of us have not been taught. I don't know about you, but as a child, I was never taught how to access my vagal nerve, my vagal tone, how to breathe, meditate, how to shift my beliefs in order to in order to allow my full emotional experience to be true, authentic, and open. You know what I mean? So, if you are someone with anxiety, try this at night. Just keep doing that, because your vagus nerve is connected to your eyes. So that you have all these pressure points. You have about 7 of them around your eyes. And so if you can just lock your hands behind your head, because it supports your head so that you can tell that you're looking straight, because you want to keep looking straight, and just look to the side, and then just look to the side, and just hold that there until your body resets. And do that, and then come back here and comment and let me know in a week how you're doing. Let me know if you start to notice when you're feeling anxiety, and if you've been able to just take that deep breath and drop down and say, we're not anxious. This situation's not dangerous. We're not under attack. And see if you can calm yourself and notice whether the anxiety is coming from within you. Are you not being authentic to yourself? Or if it's coming from someone else who is not expressing themselves in their own authentic way. Anyways, peace and love.